everybody, Deborah Stewart here, and I'm going to talk about art. I'm going to talk about my painting here, and this painting isn't finished, but I'm going to talk about the painting and some things that I think about and a little bit about composition. And I will share some more information with you on composition at the end of this video. So this is a painting that, as I said, is not finished. I started two of them at the same time. I had one on the wall and one on the easel of my small studio that I have. And I worked on them both at the same time. And I had an initial sketch that I had done in pastel on some newsprint down on the floor. And it was a very vague sketch. I'll get it. This is it, the sketch down here. And really, I was just thinking about the colors I was going to use and where some of the emphasis was going to be and how each one was going to be different. I wanted one heavier with orange and red and one heavier with blue. And I wanted the black lines that I had to connect the two, but to be placed in different places on each canvas. So that basically that's what I had when I started it. So the paint that I used was orange and blue, and I had some black mark making that I made with a Stabilo chunky crayon and also some charcoal. I used a big stick of pastel that I have that I may have shown in another video before. And a blue pastel. They're both big pastels. I'll show you. This is how big they are, and I got these on a clearance rack. You can't get them anymore. I bought this for $2, and it's a Sennelier giant pastel. I'm not sure they even make them like this anymore, but I bought 3 of them. An orange, a blue, and a dark blue. Let me put that back. Okay, so I, painted it really loose with big brushes, and I just wanted to get some paint down. And then as I was working on them, I decided to put this one away because, excuse me, things were happening in it that I thought, well, I don't like that, and I don't like this other thing that's in there, so I'm just going to put it away now and just work on the one. So I did. I worked on the one. I put this one away, probably put it in the other room so I couldn't see it, and just put the other one on the wall so that I worked on it by itself and finished it up. And it came along quite nice, and I really like the way that it turned out. But this one, I have thought about, am I going to gesso over this canvas? This is something I do that you've seen me do. Or am I going to try and make it work? There are things about it that I don't like, and so I'll show you what some of those are. Right here, there's a black line and an orange line, and they're both basically the same. I must have made the same movement 2 times, and it's like, well, that doesn't work. I don't like that it's repeated right next to the other one, almost exactly the way that it is. The other thing that I don't like, let me flip this around, because I've also then flipped this around different directions to see which direction do I like it the best. So here's another thing that bothers me is the blue shape and the orange shape are too much the same size. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do about that. I think it needs to be connected somehow. And I think, sometimes I think, okay, I'm going to put more in this center area. But I'm not sure whether it's going to be blue or whether it's going to be orange. So it may end up being more orange. I'm not sure. One of the things that I will do is take a photo of this and put it on my iPad and play around with maybe making this center area more orange or the center area more of a turquoise area, and say, well, what do I like best? So that's what I'm thinking about. I am thinking about leaving the outside kind of, the lighter colors, but then this middle part, this and this needs to be connected somehow, because they're just two shapes on almost opposite sides and they're almost the same size, which is not a good thing to have two kind of dominant shapes, which the color are shapes, the same size. So how can I change that? That's what I think about. The black, I don't mind the black. I might need to do something different with that. Another thing that I don't like, I'm not sure which way I'm going to turn this. I've turned it this way quite a bit. It almost has a landscape look. Do I want it to have a landscape look? I'm not so sure, but it kind of does right now. So, but I'm not sure that I want to keep that look. The other thing when it's turned this way is, here's these curved lines again, these curved lines. Somehow there needs to be something different going on with some line. And so one of the things that I think about when I am, working on something is I start with a vague idea, like I showed you, and I don't sketch out or pre-plan exactly what I'm going to do. I don't have a pre-planned composition in mind. Most of the time, my ideas about composition are, where is the dark part? Where's the light part? And, which way are some of the lines moving in the painting? Are this the emphasis over here on the right or the left, and the lines are kind of moving this way? Is the emphasis on the lower right and it's moving up this way? Those are the things that I think about mostly, is where is the dark and where is the light? And also I think about shape, like I just said. If there are shapes in there and I think color is a shape, I don't want them all the same size all the way around, so it looks like it spots. And I've made paintings like that. I have one hanging on the wall over there that I think is too spotty. The other thing I think about is line. I like to have some line in, because line adds interest. It's another element of art, and along with shape, color, value, all of the things that you can think about with a realistic painting, I think apply to an abstract painting too, but in a different way. So those are the things I think about. Color variation. Do I have enough color variation? Do I have some neutrals? And the neutrals I would get, there are some neutrals in here. In the background, there is some kind of a yellow ochre, some brown, there is some gray, there is some really light beige, but maybe I need to mix the blue and the orange together to get some kind of a variation for a neutral. Or maybe I need to mix the orange in with some of the gray. This gray came right out of the jar of golden. So maybe I need to mix them together to get a variation, or mix some turquoise in with the gray to get a variation. So then I might get out my color wheel and think about, well, what other colors haven't I thought about yet? Um, Orange and blue are complementary colors. So I think in the color wheel, one color is usually more dominant than the other. It's not a 50-50 split. Right here you see really a 50-50 split. So I have to decide, is this more of a dominant orange painting or a dominant blue painting? The other one I finished is more dominant blue. So my thought is that I should really kind of push this into more of an orange, dominant painting with touches of the blue. So those are things I am thinking about. It's always a questioning. You know, when you are doing maybe painting a landscape painting and you're using a photograph, there are probably some rules that I don't know about with landscape painting. But you have got the horizon, the foreground, the background, the placement of the different elements of a landscape, what would be a good composition, what would be, you know, a composition that is not as good. Well, some of those things may apply to an abstract painting, but a lot of times it is not clear cut. And I've shown in previous videos that I've done that you can find different ways to develop abstract compositions through the use of a small piece of a photograph, no matter what that is, a small piece of a drawing, just intuitive mark making and choosing a small section of that intuitive mark making. And there are other kinds of compositions that you will see frequently in abstract painting. Some of them are not so clear. This probably isn't so clear, but you will see, say, abstract paintings that have more of a rhythmic quality, where it's repeated across the painting. You will see abstract paintings that have horizontal lines that may represent an abstract, or they may just be geometric. You may see abstract paintings with long vertical lines, again, the same thing. A cruciform composition, which I did a lot at one time, and not even intentionally, where you've got this horizontal line and then a vertical line that isn't like straight across, like a cross, but it is that kind of a composition, a diagonal composition. Many of these that I'm talking about right now, I listed in a previous newsletter. So you might want to take a look at that previous newsletter if you have access to it. And I'll make some sketches about this again, and maybe even post that newsletter again at the end of this video, in case you never saw it or you forgot about it. So there aren't, for abstract painting, for me anyway, there is beginning with a concept. Usually it's color, and it is where's the dark part and where's the light part going to be. Sketching out on a piece of paper, and then using that vague sketch as a way to start a painting, like I did this. And then really asking myself a lot of questions as I'm working on it. Well, what's working? What's not working? What bothers me? What do I like? And when you're new to abstract painting, you might not know what's working and what's not working. It's only through creating a lot of paintings, asking yourself those questions. Another question I ask is it too busy? Is there too much going on? Do I need to simplify this somehow? And so that's another question that I ask myself. And how can I simplify it? Sometimes it's painting over the whole thing with gesso like I've done. But if I wanted to simplify this, I might ask myself, well, what part of this really bothers me? What part do I still like? Maybe this is too much. Maybe it's too strong. And if I lessened it a little bit, went over it maybe with some of this light orange or maybe a lighter brown, just kind of lessen the size of it, maybe that would make things better. And so every time you make an adjustment, you go, well, did that work? Does it look better? Or didn't it work? So it's a constantly asking yourself questions. What do I like? What don't I like? Let's try something, see if that made a difference. It's there, there's not a lot of, well, you need to do that to fix it. With practice and with making more and more abstracts, you will find yourself, learning more about what's wrong. And are there too many bright colors and not enough neutral colors? So, a lot of things. And so I think what I will do is repost the newsletter that I did last summer on compositions. And I have reposted the questions that I go through for myself, things that I just said. And I have reposted those, how do you evaluate your artwork? I'll repost that again at the end of this video as an attachment, so you can look at those again. But that's something I do. And the other thing I do, especially when something is a square, is I keep turning it around. I might do it on my phone, or I might just do it physically like I just did. Which way looks the best? So many times in the past when I was learning, teaching myself to create abstracts, I would start an abstract, say, this way, vertical, and then I would turn it around and work on it another direction. Because as I did that, I thought, well, now it looks better that way. So many times when I'd start at one direction, it would end up another direction because that was actually the stronger direction. So I encourage you to flip those artworks around, upside down, and work on them from a different direction also, because that's really going to help you pull things together and look at them and get a different viewpoint. Take pictures on your phone all the time throughout your process. When you start, halfway through, at the end, to judge what needs to be done. Most of the time for me, it is, I've got to get a different perspective. I've got to look at it from a different point of view, and I do that by taking pictures on my phone or my iPad, looking at it on a computer screen, flipping it different directions, tweaking the photo with some kind of a program like Procreate, and then thinking, oh, that's what it needs. That's the problem. So all those things. I hope that helps you, and I'll be posting this video for you along with those reposts of the handouts on composition and evaluating your art. So thanks for watching.